Hello and welcome to our Wednesday webinar series brought to you by Grand Canyon University's Canyon Professional Development. Folks, you are in for a treat as we have one amazingly talented educator expert with us today. Liz Colton has a slew of accolades behind her name, not least of which is the Rural Arizona Teacher of the Year. Yes, folks. Beyond that, she is an incredible educator in Yuma in the southern part of Arizona. She has an innovation and invention expertise with the U.S. Patent and Trade Office, and she's going to be talking to us about that today, innovation education. I can't wait because this educator with us today has a provisional patent for something called Aquabox. Liz, I can't wait to hear more about it, and I'm going to give you a minute to introduce yourself, but before you do, if you wouldn't mind setting the stage for our learning today and telling us about this quote that you chose and why you chose it.
Yeah, so it's one of my favorite quotes because many things in life may catch your eye. Only a few things will catch your heart, and we should pursue those. And as an educator, I feel like that happens so often, that there's so many great things that are happening all around us, but we need to focus on the few things that catch our heart and pursue that. And education is really near and dear to my heart because of that positive impact you can make on students.
Wow. Well, clearly it's close to your heart because the amount of time and love that you give to the classroom is truly inspiring. So as I said before, folks, I wanted Liz to be able to introduce herself because she has just so much experience in the classroom, and it truly, and she's also very, very humble. So I had to throw a few things in there up front because she wasn't going to tell you. So Liz, tell me a little bit more about your background.
So I've been teaching for 17 years. I spent 14 years teaching kindergarten through 8th grade as a science teacher. And then the last 3 years, I've been a middle school STEM teacher for 7th and 8th grade in Yuma, Arizona at Crane Middle School. Go Cougars, woo!
Right.
I've worked a lot with the U.S. Patent and Trade Office recently, being in their newest program, the Master Teacher of Invention and Intellectual Property, which is a really amazing opportunity to learn more about invention education. I'm also a First Legal League certified trainer. I'm a global innovation ambassador for First. So I've gone to the Global Innovation Awards and done workshops there for students from all over the world. So that's been a super exciting experience. And then Arizona Science Teachers Association, Elementary Science Teacher of the Year in 2018. I do a lot of work with Apple Distinguished Educators Program and Apple Learning Coach. So I host different Twitter chats online with Apple education. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Amazing. And the list goes on, folks. It goes on. And I am just so incredibly honored to tell you that she also, as a part of Canyon PD, Liz will do some of our STEM training for the Arizona STEM Acceleration Program. Now, who else, or project, I should say, and who else would we want to be in front of us sharing her passion for STEM education, but Liz Colton. So we're just doing this series. We had Robin Ewell on as well, and we're so excited to have these amazing educators come alongside Grand Canyon University to give you all, our educators, our community, just another tool for your tool belt in the STEM classroom. So speaking of tools and tool belts and STEM classrooms, we have a few objectives today that Liz is going to share with us. She's going to talk to us about intellectual property, as we talked a little bit about the fact that she already has a provisional patent for something called Aquabox. So I'm definitely going to ask you about that. We're going to talk about the science of innovation. So how to get kids excited. I mean, so many times out there, I've heard, how do we bring entrepreneurship in to the STEM classroom? Kids get really excited about creating and innovating and ideating. Well, how do we take it to that next level of patent? So I'm excited that you're going to talk about that and give us some USPTO resources. That's the U.S. Patent and Trade Office resources. And then you're going to tell us something about Equip HQ and maybe IP, I'm thinking has something to do intellectual property there. Yeah. So with all that said, I'm going to turn the baton over to you. Pass the baton there, Liz, and
Okay.
just take us through these exciting opportunities and resources.
All right. So I'd like to at least set the background a little bit of why I'm so passionate about intellectual property and innovation and invention education. So I have worked with students for many years, and one of my group of students, they worked really hard on a specific project related to transportation of water in particularly. So as Corey mentioned, I'm in Yuma, Arizona. It's very rural, it's hot for the southern part of Arizona. So my students happened to work on a project in solving a problem for a helicopter pilot who did search and rescue. And because of that story that he shared with us in a challenge-based learning summer school program, my students really took heart to his particular story of being able to deliver water to stranded people in particularly areas where he could not land his helicopter. So if it's too hot, he wasn't able to land the helicopter for fear of not being able to get back off the ground. Or in this instance, the terrain was too rough and there was nowhere for him to land. And so he was unable to give water and relief to those he was trying to rescue. So because of that, my students really took to heart how frustrated he felt and how much his heart was aching in trying to help others. And so they became very vested into a project, and we developed the Aqua Box. So the Aqua Box, which you can see pictured there in front of you, went through lots and lots of trials and testing, from being thrown off the roof of our school to being thrown in pools, being thrown out of this particular person's airplane. In Somerton, we were able to connect with the Somerton Airport, and they were, Eric Salzer, he was able to drop their projects out of his plane at about 150 feet, up to 50, 60 miles per hour, depending on the runway. And so we were able to really test it. So it was kind of like a little bit like the great egg drop, but on steroids. As we
That
work
is quite the egg drop. That's the water bomb drop. Yeah, for sure.
exactly. Also that they could develop something that was usable for pilots, and that also met the needs of those who might need to be rescued on ground. They were able to work with a lot of community partners, Red Cross, Civil Air Patrol, or just to name a few. And then it ended up that after winning several competitions for innovation, they were asked to apply for a provisional patent. And that's how I got started into working with patents and invention and intellectual property. They did receive a provisional patent. We worked with a really great lawyer in Phoenix who helped us navigate through the process. And later, these young ladies who are in 5th and 6th grade ended up at the Global Innovation Awards in Cupertino, California. And
Wow,
they
this is
share everything.
not only is it incredible, but you just mentioned a few times rural, that
Yeah.
this is Somerton, Arizona. This is a very small farming community with a
Yeah.
very real need for rural I don't know how to say it, the helicopter needing to find a solution to a problem. And here
Right.
you have students in, did you say 7th, 8th grade?
They were in 5th and 6th grade, actually, at the time. 5th
And
and 6th
sixth
grade.
grade. So if you are intimidated by STEM education, 5th and 6th graders connecting with a pilot to create the Aqua Box and get it patented. That's the amazing part for me as well. So what passion. Thank you so much for sharing that story, because it truly gives us an idea as to where you're going with what you do in the classroom every day. And I will say another thing that I heard you say, Liz, was heart. They had the heart. He had the heart to
Yeah.
help people. So
Yeah.
it's funny. We talk about STEM education. We're not talking about math and hard science, and we
Right.
start with heart.
Yeah. I think what I really loved about it is some of these young ladies, at the beginning of the school year, they really weren't doing well academically, but as they found a passion in invention education, they continue to work really hard. And before you know it, naturally their interest in academics grew as they were pushing this project. And so I'll never forget, they went to their math teacher and said, we need harder math. We need your math to help us solve this problem we're
I
working on.
love it. So we start with the problem or the passion, and then we bring the math into it. Makes it much more fun. I love it. Well, tell us more about intellectual property and how we can bring this into our own classrooms.
So often when we do a lot of project-based learning in our classrooms and stuff, we come up with lots of great projects, but something that we may not be aware of is that intellectual property is more than just your idea in your mind. It should be something tangible. And so that's when we kind of go into that prototyping stage, more than just a drawing or more than just an idea that we're sharing out loud in a classroom. So we want to see more. And so as we talk about intellectual property, we want to see that creation. We want to go to that next level of actually creating something. Even if it doesn't work, we still want to see that prototyping phase. And so that's what intellectual property is, being able to protect those ideas. And then there's 4 different types of intellectual property. Copyrights, which is like poems and writings and things like that, articles and stuff. Then we have the patent, which is utility patent, plants, design patents, things like that. And then trademarks is obviously like our logos and branding and things. And then trade secrets is those special formulas that people don't want to share, whether it be Coca-Cola's secret of how they make that amazing drink, or KFC and their spices that they put in to make their famous fried chicken.
Those are the trade secrets. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kids have to start thinking about all 4 of these areas when you teach IP, intellectual property. Is that right? Like, do you go through a process here?
Yeah, so I briefly touch a lot on copyrights because I think it's important for our students to understand copyrights and being able to really look at what is out there, especially with all the resources that we have on the internet. And so we talk a lot about trademarks and infringement on trademarks a little bit. Trade secrets, there isn't much to say except keep it to yourself.
Right.
And then we really dive into the patents when we talk in class. And that's where that prototyping comes into place of what kind of patent are you making, and working through project-based learning projects, whatever that may be, or STEM challenges, and how it might lead to possibly, hopefully, provisional patent, depending on that student. Science fair projects are a great little launch pad to go into patents as well.
Okay. So if I had, so my students are, coming up with a creation, or as you did with the helicopter pilot, a need,
Right.
really thinking about a need in the community, maybe a need in my school, and students come up with that, some ideas of copywriting, patenting, trademarking, something that they're creating.
Right.
And then, if they have something really great, they can, maybe even apply for a patent. I'm really excited about this concept, and the resources out there from the United States Patent and Trade Office. Is this, how hard is this to do in the classroom?
There is so many great resources. One thing that I really like is the science of innovation, the trading card activities. There's a lot of those that I'm going to share in a little bit. And then just inventor activities and lesson plans that teachers can have. So these have been written by teachers. They've been tried and tested in classrooms all across the nation, and even in the U.S. territories, including Puerto Rico. So they're good. They're good lessons. They're vetted by other fellow teachers, and they're very accessible to all classrooms. That's what I like.
How exciting. So you're going to take us through a couple of these, or let us know how we go. Okay. Science of innovation videos. Talk to me.
Okay, so these are really great innovation videos that just talk about current things that are happening. The U.S. Patent and Trade Office releases different videos on their YouTube channel, but what's really nice is if you feel like, I don't have enough background in all of this information, I'm kind of new to teaching STEM, or I may not know very much about virtual reality, they have these amazing videos that are easy to access on their website. But what's really nice is you don't have to worry about proofing them and saying, ooh, should I show this to a class? These are all education friendly. These are short videos that you can share with students to get them discussing. And really, as an educator, we can be that facilitator. So when our students are asking good questions, we can say, it's okay if you don't know the answer. It's like, oh, that's a good question. Let's research it. And when we research, that's when we're looking at different possible inventions and innovations. And so I really like the videos that are in here. Yep. And here's an example of some of them. So they talk about smart concrete and how it was developed. They give you examples of it, and they talk about why it was developed and what they do about it. Short videos, not long, which is really nice in the classroom. You don't have to worry about streaming something super long, and it works seamlessly into any science lesson.
Ah, this is great. And what I really like what you said was that they're already patented. So it's something like, how did they figure out how to use smart concrete? And so that gives you an idea of where to start. So it kind of gets the students' minds like, their juices flowing, as we like to say. Okay,
Yeah.
and folks, just remember all of these items are going to be in the show notes, so you don't have to vigorously take notes. Tell us about the inventor activities and the lesson plans that go along with those.
Okay, so these are really great inventor activities. They're based off of the trading cards. So these trading cards are basically different people who have been inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame in Washington, D.C. So Roy Cooper, he's one of them. A really great story gives you the background, and then it goes into the lesson plan. What I like about them, and particularly, like, for example, the Roy Cooper one, is that it talks about how he was a veteran, how he now still continues to work with veterans in trying to make things more accessible. And then the lesson goes into, okay, how can you design, say, utensils that are more accessible to different people having different abilities. What I really like is this can be done with recyclable goods. It can be done with things from your cafeteria. It can be done with very inexpensive items that you probably already have in your classroom or in your school. So you're not having to go out and buy a lot of things. These are things that you can just utilize what you already have in your classroom. This
So
lesson
great.
can be done in like a one class period, an hour, or you could stretch it out over a whole week. It really would depend on how you want to do it in your classroom, but I like that it varies. Easily you can do it with young kids all the way up to high school. So they're great
Wow.
lessons. Check them out.
Okay, that's amazing. And wait, before we get to this one, I keep skipping slides here. There's something else. The trading card collection.
Oh, so these
And these are all those famous inventors, is what you were talking about, right?
Yeah, these are great and famous inventors. You can access them online. You can download them, print them out as PDF forms. What I like to do is I like to have copies of them, and then we use it like to set different tables of like, okay, now you're going to work at, Tesla's table. That's going to be Team Tesla, giving your group
So
different
cool.
inventor names. It gives the kids a chance to kind of look at the back. You can definitely work in like Kagan structures. You could work in a lot of different things that people already do in their classroom just by utilizing the inventor trading cards. And on the back of each one of them, it gives you a quick little background, a little bit why they're famous and what was the reasoning of why they put them in the Inventors Hall of Fame.
That is so great. And I see you also have female representation, minority representation. So not only is it great for them to just say, I love that concept of Team Tesla, or, today we're going to think about ideas innovation, maybe instead of item innovation. I just love this idea. And who doesn't love a good card game
Right.
or a bunch of cards to be able to just even do some very basic pairing up, right, of your students. So now I know this is a new resource from the US Patent and Trade Office. I looked at it and I thought it was absolutely fantastic because, by the way, folks, I've gone through Liz's training for invention education. It was incredible. So I cannot express to you enough how much you should make some time to come to her trainings in person. But definitely tell us a little bit about Equip HQ.
Okay, so what I personally love about it is they have those short inventor stories, and they are by kids. So what's really cool is kids tell their different stories about how they were an inventor, how they were trying to solve a problem. They talk about how they were trying to get a patent, or it could be just going through the research and the prototyping process. Um, there's a great matching game where you can match the different inventors with their inventions. There is lesson plans that are available on there. There is just a wealth of information. I like the prototyping, like the patent prototyping where you can drag and drop like the different items in there and kids can build. For example, I know there's one like about building a Mars, like building stuff on Mars, and they can drag and drop, but it gives them like a budget of how much money they can spend, and it tells you how much each item is, and it puts it all on like blueprint graph paper, and the kids can look at it and they can really decide and design as they go. So it's really accessible. It works on Chromebooks and iPads, etc. It's great, and they're adding more and more. So the last I heard, they have like 60 more new items that are being vetted right now, and they'll be adding them in the next few months, very soon to the website. So they continue to add more. They're listening to a lot of teachers' feedback on like, we need this, we need that, and so they're just constantly adding. It is new as of I think March or February was their launch date, and
Wow.
yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And not only, I was going to ask a couple questions. Number one, is it applicable for high school students as well as younger students? Like, is it pretty K-12 or is it?
It's K-12. So they got
Okay.
K2 as one grade band, 3 through 5, 3 through 5. Then we have our middle school band, 6-8, and then we have 9-12. And they're adding more and more to it. I would say they have a lot more in the middle school and high school band right now, and they're adding more to that K2. 3-5 has actually quite a bit. There's lessons that you can go through with your students on there. And it really breaks it all down. What's nice is it's tied to all the standards. So it has ELA, Common Core, Math, Common Core Standards, NGSS, Social Studies, 21st century skills, you name it. They
got
have
them all.
listed it all.
I love it. And then the other thing I was thinking about is that it sounds like it could be applicable for an online school because they can do some patent building online.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, this is so exciting, and thank you for sharing that. I'll also let y'all know that here is where you can come to canyonpd.com and you can find these educator training courses, of which Liz is a teacher. So please don't forget to sign up for our look at this, teacher of the year finalist Liz Colton, and also the Arizona Rural Teacher of the Year. That's where she is. So please register for some of this STEM training in person with Liz herself, the one and only Liz Colton. I really appreciate you telling us all kinds of information about the USPTO. And you can find out more, folks, if you take her class in person. Don't forget to connect with us on social media because you'll be able to get some free coupons for classes that Liz will teach for us in our online portal, our Canyon PD Solutions to Go, but keep up to date with and know when she's going to be training and teaching with us here at GCU. And remember, our why is to empower, educate, and inspire our community so they take action to fulfill their purpose and to serve others. And Liz, thank you so much for fulfilling our purpose today, for serving us with your information and intellectual property lessons. We'll put all of these things into our show notes. And boy, I know I took away a whole lot today. Number one, having heart comes before the STEM items. So I really appreciated the story that you shared about your own patent, the fact that you have a patent for Aquabox, and you did that with 5th and 6th grade students. That's my favorite takeaway. Obviously, some amazing trading card lessons, USPTO inventor from the Equip HQ. Can't wait myself to go in and really see what those online ideas are for creating intellectual property so that students have ideas and bring them to life. So thank you. Subscribe now for more free PD. Ms. Colton, would you like to say anything to say goodbye to our listeners today?
I would just like to say everyone can create and innovate, so let's go do it.
I love it. Thanks, everybody. Till next time.
Yep. Bye.
Fantastic. Way to go. Stop that recording.